Hello, men. Welcome back to the Gritty Men podcast. I'm John Riggs, your host, and today we have someone who is not unfamiliar with our podcast. He's been on here before, but this is a good friend of mine and a brother in Christ, Cy Ashley. Cy, welcome to the podcast today.
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm stoked.
Oh, we're going to have some fun.
Yeah.
Well, you might already recognize that there's a little bit of a different background here for this podcast, and we are just going to start titling these specific podcasts under Faces Like Lions, and we're going to try to bring, different content, not going to stop the teaching part of what we do here with Gritty Men. We'll be trying to do one on Tuesday, one on Thursday every week, and we're going to kind of mix things up a little bit. So if you're wanting to look at more just kind of interviews and just talking about different things, hunting and all kinds of stuff, you'll want to go to the ones that are entitled Faces Like Lions. If you want to learn more about biblical truth and teaching, you'll want to go just to the ones that are under Gritty Men. So just letting you guys know that. You may be wondering, well, where did we get this name, Faces Like Lions? Well, actually, it comes from the Bible, and we if you study the Old Testament, you're going to meet a group of men there that were great warriors. In fact, in the last study we did called The Kingsmen, we spent some time talking about these men. And in 1 Chronicles chapter 12, we read these words. From the Gadites there went over to David at the stronghold in the wilderness mighty and experienced warriors. They were expert with shield and spear, whose faces were like the faces of lions. Man, I love that depiction of these warriors. They had faces like lions. You can imagine, probably had these great big beards, long hair. They were just some rugged men. They were swift as gazelles upon the mountains. And we're going to talk about mountain backcountry hunting today. I wouldn't say that we were swift as gazelles.
I've never been accused of being swift.
But I don't know how anybody could be as swift as gazelles where we went.
Oh, man.
But anyway, we went, right?
Well, we did go.
But these guys here were swift as gazelles upon the mountains. And so these were just some incredible men who feared God, loved God, and fought for the glory of God for the nation of Israel and ultimately King David. So that's where we come up with Faces Like Lions. And so that's what we're trying to do on this podcast, is just to give you guys a little bit different offering. And so we're going to talk about the mountains today.
Love the mountains.
Yes.
Good topic.
A good topic, right?
You bet.
So Cy and I, this last spring, we went on a spring backcountry bear hunt in Idaho. And so it's not the first time for me to be there. I love going to Idaho to bear hunt. In fact, bear hunting to me has become one of my favorite types of hunting.
I understand now.
Yeah, absolutely. You understand now, right? It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And so we went to what is known as the Frank Church Wilderness area, which is actually the most remote place that you can go in the lower 48. Now, I understand Alaska, there's going to be some remote areas there.
Oh, yeah.
That a man would love to go experience, but in the lower 48, it is the most remote area. So we're grateful that, Frank was a senator and he set aside this property for us to enjoy.
Yes.
And it is an incredible place to go. So that's what we're going to talk about on the podcast today. We're going to talk about our experience this last spring, just a few months ago, in the backcountry in the Frank Church Wilderness of Idaho. So,
Yep.
All right, man. Well, let's go ahead and begin. Cy, this was your first time?
Yes, it was. It was my first time for several things, actually. It was my first time taking a little brush plane in. That was an experience all on its own.
Absolutely. Smaller plane.
Oh, very, very small plane. I mean, what's funny is you think that one's small because it's the pilot and you and me and a couple of other guys.
Right.
And our gear just gets kind of crammed into the tail end of this thing.
In the tail,
it's just a little hold built into that plane. And you think it's small until they come pick you up in a smaller plane.
Right.
So
pilot, you and me, that's all there was when we flew out, right?
Oh, that thing, I've been in go-karts bigger than that thing. It was pretty amazing. But the trip in, the flight in, let me even back that up a little bit. Getting in there and waiting for the flight, waiting for the weather, listening to the outfitter do their thing as far as gauging when we go in and getting to sit in there and visit with a couple of other men that were coming in on their bear hunt, going to a completely different location.
Yep,
than
they
us.
went up to the Selway.
They went up to the Selway.
They did.
A couple of younger guys.
In their 20s.
Yep, and I think that was going to be their second bear hunt for the season, right?
Right.
They had been up in middle of May or something like that before.
They had been.
But just getting to visit with other hunters, and get their take on things, and just other men that appreciate being out in God's creation.
Right.
It was just an awesome way to kick things off, even before we ever even got in the plane.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
We're going to back up even further. This particular hunt, we decided that we were going to fly to Idaho.
Yes.
And then we would fly in with a smaller airplane into the backcountry.
Yes.
So really, for those of you guys that have never flown with, firearms and all of your gear and all of those things, there are usually some interesting stories that go along with that. Now, I have in the past flown, and I have lost my gear. Oh, I didn't lose my gear. The airlines have lost my gear.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than getting to a place where you're going to go and you get ready to rent a vehicle and you got another 6-hour drive to go to some hunt somewhere, and you wait for the baggage to come out of the bag claim and your pack is not there with all of the gear in your pack.
That's a trial all on its own, because keep in mind, you're trying to do all this within a window of time.
Yes. Yes.
And so anything that encroaches on that window of time, it's something to work through. That's for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, last year when I went, and we'll share this hunt later with another friend of ours, I lost my pack twice. I lost it on the way there, and then on the way back home, it got lost again. So one of the things that I have learned about that I probably would recommend if I was going to recommend to somebody is to get a great big suitcase.
Yep.
And so the pack that I took this year was like a 6,800 cubic inch.
Yep.
Because if you're going to go and you're going to spend, a week in the backcountry, you need something big enough to carry all of your gear that you might need if you do go do a pack out somewhere.
Sure.
Right? So if you're going to go do a satellite camp somewhere and drop it, you need to have enough pack space to carry all that stuff.
Absolutely.
And you ran into a problem this year with your pack. You didn't put it in a case, but you had a brand spanking new pack, man, and this was a nice one.
Yep.
When you got it, you weren't too happy when you saw some of the things that had happened to your pack.
I wasn't. I don't know what happened in the storage on the big airline that we were using. And keep in mind, this wasn't the Outfitters. This was the big airline here that we used. It got thrown up against something, it looked like. It was rubbed repeatedly.
It had several holes in it.
And it had holes in it, but like we had discussed, they looked like burns.
Like that material had actually burnt.
Yep.
I agree.
Almost kind of melted a little bit in some spots.
Sure.
Luckily, it wasn't anything that was going to prevent me from being able to use the pack. But man, you go through all the extra work and putting that stuff together, carefully selecting the pack that you think is going to be best suited.
Sure.
For us.
Yeah.
This one with the lid that I purchased with it, I think it ended up being probably about 6,000 cubic inches. Mm-hmm. Because I wanted something that was going to get my gear up there, but something too, like you were saying, we set out for a couple of overnighters at a spot camp on a ridge line or something.
Yep.
That was, I wanted to make sure I had something that was going to get me through anything that we were going to do.
Absolutely.
So there was a lot of thought that went into that. And so, I learned very quickly the best way to do that is to put everything into a large suitcase, which, as you remember, that's what we did on the way back.
Right.
And I had no issues coming back.
Yeah. Some of the things that I ran into that were a little bit of a snag for me this year was I took things like a raft and I took all kinds of stuff. So when I get to the airport, there's a weight limit on your bags, right? Man. And so you get there and you think your bags are close and everything's jam-packed full, but you go ahead and you weigh them, guys, and then you learn that this is going to cost you several $100s just to get your bags because of the overweight prices. And then when you take a firearm and, you got your pistols and you got your firearm and you're checking those in, well, they're an oversize also, so that's $150 just for your rifle to get packed one way. That's $300 round trip just for your rifle in its case, not counting your bags that are, mine were overweight, dude. I'm not even going to get into what it cost me on the way up there. We figured it out on the way back to do some changing around and switching out and balancing, but it got pretty expensive. But overall,
you're better paying for your bag and keeping it under right around the 50-pound mark and bringing a second bag and paying for the additional bag at 50 pounds than you are trying to combine it into one bag.
And pay the overage.
And pay the overage.
That's right.
The scale, I don't know how they figure it, but the scale that they figure that at as it climbs in weight.
A little lopsided.
Dude, it grows quick, that the dollar signs do.
Yeah.
So, there was a few things that we learned. Not to mention having everything, in a large suitcase. It is nice being able to wheel that thing around the airport versus having it slung across your shoulders.
I felt like the Beverly Hillbillies, man, dude. I had so much stuff I was dragging around and things. I mean, I barely could get through the airport, man. And so, but anyway, we got that done. And overall, guys, if you're going to fly with a firearm, it's really not that big a deal. Just make sure that you...
way more simple than I thought
make sure you do what they require of you, have the right locks that you need, make sure you don't have any shells in any of your, not only your gun, but also in your magazines or anything. You can't have bullets in anything, so just put them in your box of your shells, and really it's a pretty seamless deal, really. And we're fortunate in the Midwest that we get to enjoy that. In fact, when you get to places like Idaho, they welcome hunters there. They're so welcoming to hunters out of state, and I really appreciate those people in Idaho. I love the people of Idaho, just being there several times. They're incredible.
I've hunted in some other states. And the people in Idaho were absolutely some of the warmest, kindest people, and informative.
Oh yeah,
man, they don't just want you there for the business,
right?
Like the gentleman that you spoke with that runs the bakery there, which there is a bakery. If you're ever in Salmon,
Idaho, big shout out to that bakery. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but man, Oddfellows Bakery. We don't get anything by plugging it, but let me tell you something.
No,
that is an incredible place to eat before you go in the backcountry. In fact, we make sure before we go back in there, we're going to get some stuff from that place.
Best
coffee,
bear claws, best bear claw I've ever had.
They're great, man. So hey, shout out to Oddfellows Bakery there in Salmon, Idaho. You guys have it going on.
But
very good.
Just talking to men and women that had been in the Frank Church that lived there, and had been up there through various seasons. I mean, we got tidbits on fishing, we got tidbits on hunting in some of the areas. I mean, just these people. They're genuinely kind and warm people. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's what you get in the Midwest. You get good people, man. I'm not saying we don't have good people in other parts of the country, but I'm saying in the Midwest in general, you're getting just good people overall. So people that are attached, in living through the seasons and all of that stuff, hunters, many of them outdoorsmen, the people are just great people. So that was pretty an awesome experience. The flight was pretty uneventful, and didn't lose any baggage this year.
Nope.
We rented a vehicle there in Boise, and then we just took off and drove north to Salmon, which is about a 6-hour drive.
One of the prettiest 6-hour drives.
It's pretty awesome, isn't it?
Man, it was absolutely gorgeous. I couldn't believe the amount of snow.
Yeah, they had a lot of snow this year. In fact, I was really concerned through parts of that because I didn't have any way of knowing how much snow is in where we were going to go hunt in the Frank Church. I had no way of knowing. We didn't want too much snow, but you don't want to get there too late. You know what I'm saying? So you want to catch bears as they're coming out, and you want it early on, and so on and so forth. So I was really worried that we were going to be going through some deep snow, but it didn't turn out that way. We were blessed. There's a little bit of a light snow line, but for the most part, the snow. In fact, I feel like we were probably a little late, and I was earlier this year by a few weeks.
It's funny, you don't know, and this is why you have to spend time in the woods, because we we planned later than y'all went last year for this reason, and then I'm sorry, earlier. We planned earlier.
Yeah.
And then we felt like we got there later, season.
Then we should have been.
Yeah.
That's right.
And you know, I want to put it in perspective too. When we were talking about the concern for the snow, the trip up there, I'm not talking about a couple of little patches of snow fields. I'm not talking about, you know, a foot or even 2 foot of snow off to the side of the road. I'm talking about this looked like a winter wonderland.
You're right.
I mean, it was easily 3 or 4 foot deep.
Some places higher than that when you
Right
drive
there.
by it in the car.
A wall of it going through the highway there.
Sure.
No, this was some serious snow. I had no idea that was a thing in June.
Yeah. It is up there. It depends on the year too. You never know how much snow they're going to get. So, well, anyway,
May.
Right. We were pushing pretty hard. We get there late. Stay in our hotel, get up the next morning, go to Oddfellows Bakery, tank up on some last really good food and some good coffee. And then we go to our the company that's going to fly us in. And we fly with, I usually fly with Gem Air, GEM Air. There's some great guys there in Salmon. If you're going to go and take part in that, Gem Air is a great, upstanding outfit. So really appreciate those guys. But anyway, you know, flew in, get there. We finally fly into this location, and it's just mind-blowing.
Oh, man.
How they come in with that plane, and they circle around, and then they're able to come in on this makeshift runway, you know, and land down in the middle of all that rugged country.
And the thing is, like, even flying in, you're already getting this sense of a geographic isolation.
Well, sure you are,
I mean,
yeah.
you are flying into this wilderness, and it's interesting because I know that we weren't, but I mean, you feel like you're mountaintop high flying in. I mean, the way you can see everything. I mean, you could count individual trees.
Oh yeah.
You know, as we're making this trip in, and so it was again just a beautiful part of the trip.
Oh yeah.
You know,
it's just something to take in and to enjoy because it's a different aspect of experience.
Yeah.
You know, and there's lots of those on this particular hunt,
man.
but that's another aspect of it. So we get in, we land, and what was your first experience? When we landed, got our stuff all out of the plane turns around there and takes off, and here we are in the middle of the Frank Church in the backcountry, isolated from all not communication necessarily, because we have, you know, your Garmin's and so on and so forth. But I mean, there's no transportation in and out of there other than flights. Maybe a raft. You're going to come down one of the rivers, but you're isolated. There's no roads. There's no other way in. So it's pretty awesome. What was your first experience of that?
My first thought, my first feeling was this overwhelming. Just a giddiness watching the plane leave, and it's flying into these mountains is what it looks like, and the mountains, like, they looked huge, but you're watching this plane take off, and it keeps flying towards them, and it keeps flying towards them, and this plane is you're just watching it get smaller and smaller and smaller, and it's like, okay, how far are these mountains? Because they're huge. They, you know, but I just remembered watching that plane leave. I'm having these flashes of all these hunting videos and shows that I've watched in the years past of these guys, and just thinking, man, I would love to be able to fly in, be flown in and dropped off. Like, what is that like? And I'm just watching this take place, and it was in that moment that I'm like, man, we're doing it.
We're doing it, absolutely.
We are doing it.
Yeah.
We're on our own. And it was just, it was a moment that I had, one of those things that I had thought about time and time again. And, you know, it eventually falls on a list if you're not careful of one of these days.
Sure.
One of these days.
Oh, we all have that, man,
sure,
right?
And
we're busy. Lots going on in life.
And if you're not careful, it's been one of those days for years. And, you know, you don't ever wonder if it's going to come to fruition. And so it became very real. We were past the big airlines. We were past the drive up there. Because if you really put it in perspective, there are a lot of things that could take place.
Oh, there are, yeah.
That would prevent you from, everything from lost luggage to weather.
Sure.
That would delay you or even keep you from ever getting in. They get one of those freak blizzards that comes in and it may be days.
Sure.
And so it's one of those things where you don't really get to breathe and say, we're doing it until your feet are on the ground in this wilderness and that plane is taken off.
Right.
And so it was a phenomenal experience.
It's better than you even imagine.
Man.
For me, I feel so blessed and so well placed by God that I've been able to do these things. And when you get to take people with you and they get to actually experience it and you can see it on their face.
Oh, yeah.
And you can just see the honest of it all. And over the days, as the days go on, you see just the relaxation and almost the changing of a metamorphosis that begins to happen.
Yep.
It's incredible what goes on. And for you guys that have never done this, I know we both would agree. If you get an opportunity, how about this? Take the opportunity
please
to plan something like this and go get away remotely like this, because something inherently happens, I would say, in our primal.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Even in our primal essence of who we are, it begins to happen to you.
Oh, yeah.
And those senses that we have by nature that God designed for us to have are so numbed in this place like where we live, you know, because there's nothing to really, it's different. But when you get up there, man, those primal instincts begin to start coming alive. And it's incredible.
Well, and
it's awesome.
And I'll tell you something else that really kind of hit me was I can remember reminding myself, watching that plane leave, man, take this in, take this in, take this in. And the longer we were there, that was something that I realized that I think you lose in the world that we live in today, particularly, and maybe it's just America, I don't know, Western culture, I don't know, but it was just, man, there was no distractions. And so you were able to be 100% in that moment. Yeah. There was no phone to bother you. There was no internet. There was no people buzzing around. You could be present. Yeah. Like truly, nothing else mattered at that point but what was taking place in that moment. Yeah. And I've thought back on that so many times since we've been back. And it's amazing how often you go through life and you're on a schedule and you've got deadlines and you have other people in your life that you're trying to do things for or do things with. And it's like, how often do we work so hard to get to do these things and be a part of these things with other people, but then when that moment comes, man, we're not in that moment.
No, we're always moving past.
Sure.
Always.
It's like, man, okay, I've got about an hour and then I've got to get to so-and-so, or I've got a phone call I've got to take, or, oh, hey, someone's trying to get a hold of me. I'll be right back. And so you're there, but, man, you're not present.
That's the difference.
And that was one of the things that I really started to realize and kind of regained. You talk about a blessing. To be able to just be present in everything that we were doing. It didn't matter if it was first thing in the morning and you're making that cup of coffee first thing. Yeah. You're in that moment. There's not a whole lot else to think about to distract you.
Right. Survival.
Yeah.
The things you need to do,
Yeah.
The daily, just what you're at that moment is what you focus on.
Yeah.
And you have to be present. There's certain things that you do that you need to be present. And for me, it takes me a few days to get to that point.
Yeah.
But when I do, man, the blessing that is in that space of time is amazing.
Well, yeah, because you get up there and everything you do is intentional.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Right.
Because if you misstep or you're not paying attention, you're distracted by something else. it could be a not such a good thing.
Right. Absolutely. It can happen, and things can go wrong in a hurry,
Sure.
you know, and so you do have to have your wits about you and be in the moment. And I think that's one of the great blessings of it, is learning how to be present, because like you said, in our rushed society, we have a difficult time being present because we're always looking to the next thing, or something else is need to be done. A list has to be finished, or, you know, all those things. So what a blessing. So anyway, we get there the first day and we set up camp right away.
Yes.
And we decide we got time. We're going to head out and we're going to go hunt the evening hunt.
Yep.
Right? So we head out and we hike up one of the drainages there from camp. And we work our way to get way up on top around on that one ridge. And then maybe we'll put some pictures up for you guys here. Get Weston to do that in the post-production where you can put a few pictures up. And we went to a place where I saw a big bear last year. And we wanted to hunt that, so that's where we went the first evening.
Yeah, that was an amazing climb. I think it ended up being about 3 miles by the time we got all said and done.
Yeah, and lots of elevation.
I tell you what I remember specifically about that is when we got to the top, and we talked about that, was you're up there and the sun is a different animal when you get up into the mountains. I mean, it's you can definitely feel that sun. But in that moment we were up there was like this. You could see the snow-capped mountains. I don't even know how many miles away.
Yeah.
But that wind was carrying this. It was Arctic. I don't know how else to explain it. It wasn't a cool breeze. It wasn't just moving air in the heat, which we experience here in Texas all the time.
Sure.
And I'm grateful for those little breezes.
Yeah.
This was something completely different because there was the warmth of everything else.
The sun was hot, man. It was hot.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
But you would get this breeze, and it was like someone opened a freezer. Like that's the only way I know how to describe that air. It was cold.
Yep.
And it was just the most amazing thing of having the heat from everything else, but then experiencing a winter breeze almost that would just hit you.
Sure.
It was a good way to start the first day. You know.
Yeah.
Get up to the top of that ridge and then just having that cold breeze hit you.
Right.
That's just stuck with me.
Interesting. Yeah, I knew, because you really brought that point out when you were up there, as you just could feel that. And I know that our viewers, they can't understand the true feeling of it, but hopefully, you know, you're painting a picture that they can kind of see. But what a refreshing experience that was. And then we had a few hours just to glass. And so in bear hunting, just for those of you that don't do it, or you spend a lot of time looking for bears, right? Yep. So lots of time behind your binocular glass, and you're just looking across vast amounts of country for anything moving, something. There's a lot of burnt stumps up there, which makes it difficult, because if you're hunting black bears, by the way, black bears in Idaho especially are all shades of different color phases. So there's lots of beautiful different color phase bears up there. And so, and for some people, I do want to mention this, we are very, very serious about the hunting aspect of what we do, and we don't take the animal's life for granted. I just want to mention this, because I know there might be somebody watching and saying, well, why would you bear hunt? Well, we don't take that for granted. The life of that animal has value. But one of the reasons we hunt, one of the primary reasons we hunt, is for consumption. And for table fare, to feed our families and for us to eat. And that's one of the primary reasons that we hunt. And bear is actually very good table fare. So that's one of the primary reasons. The second one is conservation. And conservation is very, very important. So we don't take it light, and we take it very serious in what we do, but there's a purpose behind what we do. And the ultimate purpose of what we're doing is not necessarily the kill.
Right.
Or the harvesting of an animal. That is really the benefit of it.
Sure.
It's all the other things that go along with this experience, man. And there's too much to tell and in detail about what all this experience does for you. But I just wanted to mention that a little bit. But that evening, I remember up there specifically because you made your first cup of coffee that
Yes.
evening. Those of you that know me know that I love coffee. All right. I kind of would say I'm kind of a coffee, I don't know if you say connoisseur, but I do love coffee.
Yeah,
and so
I do too.
we both took along backcountry French presses. Okay. I know this is, you guys are probably thinking, dude, you're what? You took foo-foo stuff with you on this trip? Well, man, it's a necessity. Coffee is so very, very important. So that night I on the ridge up there, some coffee was made, and I can remember how much you were just sitting back there just enjoying it, man. You got that ice cold Arctic breeze going. The sun is beating down on you. You're sipping on coffee. We're in massive country that's gorgeous. You're glassing for bears, and there's nothing else to do at the moment.
That's right.
And you talk about enjoying a cup of coffee.
It's the stuff dreams are made
That's
of,
the stuff
man.
dreams are made of. Absolutely. So we do love coffee, though. So anyway, on that topic, real quick, hey, if you want some of the best coffee in the world, I want to invite you to go online and order some of our Gritty Company coffee. We don't roast it, but a good friend of ours, he does roast this coffee. He has a coffee company, he and his wife. And I have drank coffee literally all over the world, and this is some of the best coffee I've ever drank. So that's why we offer that on this program. So we're drinking some Gritty coffee right now.
And it is good.
And it is good, isn't it? I think this is from Mexico here.
Oh,
Mexico's one of my favorites in this particular roast, so it's really good. So coffee in the backcountry is a must.
Oh,
it's a must.
Yeah, all it's going to do is it's going to add to the experience.
Absolutely.
And it's one of the few times I enjoy the process. Like I actually enjoy when I can make camp coffee.
Yeah.
I enjoy the process of being able to make coffee. There's just you can put some thought into it. And so for me, that was it. That was the whole thing. I mean, from bringing the water to a boil to adding the grounds at the right time and letting it, sit for as long as it needed to, and then pressing out your coffee and just having that hot cup of coffee up there.
Refreshing.
Oh man, it was just great.
It is. It's one of those very, very simple things that bring so much enjoyment.
Yes.
Yep. Well, that night we didn't see any bears. We glassed and glassed and glassed. Didn't see any bears come out that night that we could actually, make a play on. And so we went back to camp that night. And the next morning, we had someone join us.
Yep.
Yeah,
we
whole
were
group.
getting up to go fishing, actually.
Yep, absolutely.
That morning.
We're going to try to catch some trout there. We had a river, which was probably almost 3/4 of a mile from us that we were going to fish, maybe a mile, somewhere in there. Probably a mile anyway away. So we were going to go try to do a little fly fishing and catch some of the trout in that stream. And while we were getting ready to do that, we hear a plane coming, and sure enough, another plane comes in. A bush pilot himself who was a hunter, who had his own plane, and he's got his hunting buddies with him. And so now we have in this remote area another group of hunters, super nice guys that we met and visited with, and they were going to hunt the same area. So we made a different game plan at this point.
We did.
We were like, well, there's only so many drainages to hunt right here.
Yep.
And I don't know if this was day 2 or day 3 when they came in. We'd already hunted 1 or 2 drainages, I think.
Yep.
And so we're like, okay, we had a plan.
I think this was day 3.
It may have been day 3.
Yep.
We had a plan. There's a whole nother part, another big area of country to hunt to the south.
Yes.
But you got to cross a river to get there.
Yep.
And here's the thing, guys, about this time of year. This time of year, the rivers rise exponentially from their normal state in the summer. I mean, you got all the snow melt going on, and you've got miles and miles and miles of snow melt that is drained into these rivers, and they swell and they get big.
Yep.
And so
they move fast.
They move fast. So the plan was we loaded up everything. We're going to take and do a drop camp. We're going to cross the river. We're going to hike up. And when I say we got to hike up, I mean this is like brutal.
Oh yeah,
brutal.
Yeah.
To hike to where we're going.
Well, and I mean it's funny too, because like if you look at the map where you can actually see the switchbacks on that trail, it's like a zipper going up that.
It is because it's that steep.
Yeah.
And so we go ahead and load up, and we are heavy, dude. We were heavy.
Man. Yeah.
We even brought waders, which we have waders. We got our canoe, which is a rubber raft canoe, paddle. We got all our fishing. We got everything. Got all of our camp gear. We got stuff to stay for about 3 days.
Food, tent,
we got our tent. We got our sleeping bags. I mean, we got food and we got water. I mean, we are heavy. And we head off and we get down to the river.
Yeah.
And we decide, well, let's fish a little bit before we go on.
Absolutely. And it was beautiful.
It's gorgeous, isn't it?
Yep.
But the water was already pretty high, and it's a large river, and so we tried to find different places around there to cross. And what was your thoughts on that?
My thoughts were, I'm going fishing. so we kind of looked at it a little bit, which it's interesting too, because I thought I had been in some places, whether it was Colorado or even in the hill country here, where that water spring fed. Which here I think the water temperature, the coldest it gets, is maybe 60. Maybe it might hit 55. I don't know. But you get up there in Colorado during the summertime, and you're still getting a little bit of that snow melt, and it's maybe it's 45 or 50 degrees in late July or whatever. And I had been in those rivers before, and it wasn't anything too bad. And I remember you telling me how cold this water was going to be. That water was cold.
Yeah, it's cold enough to hurt. It hurts physically.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so once we had kind of, I think at the time we had just kind of really briefly discussed trying to get through those two sections at that big bend.
Yep.
Where it was shallow.
Sure.
It looked like it got a little bit deeper. Of course, you had that log jam that was sitting on that one side. But then there was the bigger part of that river.
Sure.
I call it a river. I think it's actually technically labeled a creek. Which,
it's a river.
Which is crazy. I mean, because even where it was at this stage, it was 50 yards, you think, across?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And fast.
Fast
Flowing.
And so we kind of put that on hold, or I did. Got out our rods. You fished a little bit. I fished a little bit. I kept walking down the river back to where the trail actually picks up on the river. I think from where we intersected the river, where I followed, what do you think, it was probably another half a mile?
Oh, probably so. Yeah.
Down there, and we found a nice little I don't know what you want to call it, a little cove.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's where the river would turn out, and then we had a little smooth area, kind of quiet water.
Yep. Which I actually thought where I was at, I fished it briefly, didn't have a whole lot of luck, but I had seen a spot where there was two bends, and so it looked like maybe the water slowed down a little bit, and it had a pinch in it that I thought, man, maybe we could get that raft across, but it would require us actually going down river a little ways and then hoping that we could navigate into that one little tiny spot. And so I went back and got you, came back, and then that's whenever you tied on a fly and actually got the first bite that we had, which this river is known for its cutthroat. Right. And there's some rainbow in there, but then there's also a hybrid that's I want to say it's unique to that area. Maybe, I don't know. But it's a cut bow, so it's part cutthroat and part rainbow. Yep. Ran into some fish there, and so that was another once in a lifetime moment. Right. Experience. Experience. I might eventually find my way back there and get to fly fish that, but it won't ever be the same. It won't be. We developed ourselves a little system. We did, where we could both fish that little pool, that little cutout there, and it paid off. It definitely would be better, I think, to go back later in the year when the water wasn't so fast and so furious, and then we had to make a game plan to go back upstream to find a location to cross. Here's the thing about those rivers. Now, if you would have been by yourself and you're going to cross, it's one thing, because as fast as that water's going, you have this rubber canoe, you blow it up, you have your paddle, you have your gear, you get in it, and you paddle off. Well, it's going at such a high rate of speed, it'll shoot you down. I don't know, you'd probably be 100 yards down before you, even then, if you ever, to get to your, cross the river. I wouldn't have done it all, because even as fast as I felt like I understood it was going, until we waitered up and we actually started
Going across it?
Was that the second or third spot?
That was the final third spot.
Yeah,
Yep.
that we tried. I had no idea how fast it was actually
And how hard that pushes against you.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It was all you could do to stand in it with your poles, and just hold the water. And my
your
poles,
trekking poles would hum.
They were humming because of how fast the water was going. And the problem was we had to get 2 people across with all of our gear. And then there has to be a way where you feed it back and forth, which you can do that with cord,
Sure.
right? We brought plenty of cord.
Yep.
But the problem is how far downstream you would go before you were ever able to get off to connect with a quiet spot. I mean, you're dealing way downstream. How's that going to work? So we ended up making a decision.
Yep.
It was a hard decision for me because I so desperately wanted to hunt that other side.
It was a hard decision for me because I knew how desperately you wanted to hunt that other side.
And I have a tendency sometimes to do things probably that maybe aren't always the wisest choice. And one reason I think this matters a lot is because a couple of years ago, which Arvil knows, a good friend of ours as well, we were on a hunt back also in the backcountry, and he nearly lost his life.
Y'all were in a different area of the Frank
We
Church,
were in a different
right?
area, of the Frank Church. And the snow melt will come up so fast because the weather gets hot and that snow melt, and the rivers just get huge. Well, we went back in. We could barely cross, but we crossed. It was real iffy, but we made it. Well, a week later when we come back out, this thing is like, raging.
Totally different animal.
Totally, but we have to get across.
Sure.
What are we going to do?
Yeah.
We got to get across.
Yep.
And we made a decision to risk, and I mean to take a big risk, and we did risk it. And in that, he almost died.
Yep.
Like literally almost died. By the grace of God, we were able to get that. To get across that, we survived it. And I remember hypothermia started setting in. I'm talking like so fast. It was cold that day. It was rainy, and he starts getting hypothermia.
I still had snow on the ground there.
Yeah, and it was just insane. And so we still have a mile left to get to the pickup. And I can still remember him. I mean, he had his pack, everything. It all went underwater. All I could see was his mouth and his face. And anyway. So I'm like, dude, you got to get all these clothes off. So we strip all the clothes off, and you're numb. You can't feel a thing. Like literally, you're so numb, it hurts. It's just you're numb. You can't feel anything. And he's just shaking violently, like he can't quit shaking. I said, dude, we got to run. Yep. We got to run. We got to get you warmed up, right? And you can't run. Flowing. You're just kind of slogging along. You know what I mean? And I can remember that whole journey of that, getting back to the truck. And thank the Lord we were only a mile away from the pickup. If not, we would have had to do a different game plan. Now we got to build a fire. If we can, there's things you got to do because things can go bad. And once hypothermia starts setting in, you got to start thinking about some stuff. But anyway, that was on our minds the whole time we're doing this. Yep. And I wanted so bad to hunt over there because now we got people back where we are and they're hunting those drainages. And I know what pressure does, right? I understand this. We only got so many ridges that we can hunt.
Yep.
And so I'm like, dude, if we'll cross here, there's not going to be anybody over here.
Yep.
And we didn't do it, man.
Nope.
And looking back, which we didn't know this, but after several days or a few days, which we would have been across, that river, dude, that river at that point,
no, man,
there is no way you're coming back across that. Not with all your stuff and everything we had. It just wasn't going to happen.
Well, and I mean, besides
God used you to bring some sanity, some sanity.
I'm glad because I mean, besides the water, which I mean, we're talking about. It was when we went back to that fishing spot. First of all, there was no getting to that fishing spot. The water had come up that much.
Oh, dude. I don't even know how many feet that thing had risen.
But it was about to start spilling over the banks.
Yes.
And you're talking about these banks were a couple of feet at least.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Down where that water was. But besides the amount of water, besides the speed of the water, the amount of debris that was being pushed.
Trees.
I'm not talking about sticks.
Right.
I'm not even talking about small logs.
Yeah.
These were trees.
Yeah.
Just being carried along like nobody's business. And so I don't know the beaver dam, brand new beaver dam that we saw.
Huge beaver dam, gone, covered up.
Yep,
it was covered completely. It was gone, man. All that stuff was gone.
That water had to have come up. I mean, it came up feet.
Oh, lots of feet. Yeah. So the Lord used you, I'd have to say, to bring some sanity to my insanity. So that was a good thing in the end. It hurt me desperately not to cross that, because I'm like, I want to kill a bear so bad, and
it
I
felt
want
like cowardice on my part.
Dude, but it wasn't. It wasn't cowardice. No. It was probably wisdom, and I don't always implement good wisdom in certain areas. So thank the Lord you did. But I wanted so desperately to get across there, because I know that we have all that country to hunt, and I know we're alone. And so anyway, that's kind of how that deal went down. Looking back after a few days, I was able to accept the fact that the right decision was made, even though I struggled with it for a few days as I'm hunting all these other ridges that I know other guys are being back in different drainages, and we're trying to hunt places that they're not. And it's kind of frustrating, you know. It's kind of frustrating, but that's hunting, and we're in public land, and everybody has an option to hunt there. So anyway, up to this point, we haven't seen a bear yet. Can you imagine that? Not even one bear. And so, you know, that's part of hunting too. You just never know how this is going to work. You don't know if the next drainage you're going to be in is going to produce a bear. You have no idea if the drainage you've been hunting might produce a bear. So anyway, we hunt hard. We went up that one day, that one drainage we went up to, and that one ridge.
Up to the furnace.
Up to the furnace? That was up to the furnace. Every time looking for a small spot to find any shade, it was so hot. But that was some steep stuff that we climbed up that day to get to that location. And that's another prime example of you know, working hard, trying to do the best you can to get somewhere where you can be successful in what you're trying to accomplish.
Well, and you're talking about steep. I mean, you're talking about, we were on 4 points of contact going up most of that stuff. And some loose rock, and that day I really understood the phrase "one more ridge," because there's always just you think we'll get to this one, and then it's one more ridge, and you don't run out of them.
No,
because even once we got to the spot where we were at, I told you, "Hey, I'm going to go up here and check. I think this might be a better spot," and you're like, "It won't be the top."
Right.
And I'm like, well, I'm gonna get up there real quick, and I get up there. There was one more ridge.
Right. That's
so
the way
these
things roll.
We're we're where we're at.
Absolutely. So. Well, and one of the nice things about that kind of thing too, I mean, there were some elk we got to see. There's some beautiful things that we got to experience. But to this point, we have not seen a bear. Hadn't seen a wolf either, which
I was disappointed in that.
Yeah, too. The year before, I mean, we saw some tracks, but the year before, we actually, the guy that I was with, he saw the wolf. I didn't see it. It cut through so quick, but he saw a wolf that trip, which is pretty cool. But anyway. So we get back to camp that night, which was a feat in of itself, getting back to camp.
Man.
And we're in camp there. We eat, and let's just talk about one of the comforts of home that came along on this trip that we enjoyed probably more than anything else.
The smartest decision I made on the whole trip.
Okay, yeah. All right, go ahead and share it.
So this might be my sister-in-law, Wendy. She makes a sourdough bread, and I can say, John didn't know it to this point, but I was telling him, I was like, man, it's good. Like, it's real good. And so she had volunteered to bake us or make us each a loaf. And when I say loaf, I don't mean like it was a little bitty muffin pan type loaf.
No, it was big.
Yeah. It was a big lump of bread, and it was dense.
And dense, yeah.
Oh, man, it was so good. And so we had that with our food. John...
the smartest decision that I made. The smartest decision
he made, and I'm so glad that he did, brought butter and honey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So this became our treat.
At night.
That
would get us back to camp going,
it was
I
our
look
dinner.
forward to it. We had it for dinner a lot. Yep. Absolutely.
And we would cut off big, I'd say easily an inch thick slices, and just lather them. With the butter
and honey,
and drench them in that honey. And I'm telling you, that was about halfway through the trek coming home every night, knowing that was there. Oh man,
Yep, made it better, didn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
So thank you to my sister-in-law for
For the bread.
for the bread. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of guys might, think, well, probably if you were, that's kind of one of those extra comforts, which we were flying into we made a base camp there, so
Yep.
that worked out. But here's the thing, guys. I've tried all different types of freeze-dried meals. I mean, I can line them all up here on the table, and some of them have better ones than others. But to be honest with you, they still don't taste good. I don't care what anybody says.
Sure.
They're not good.
Well, they taste what they are.
They will keep you alive.
Yeah.
And they'll give you some calories.
Yep.
But if you're looking for something to really enjoy, that bread.
Oh, man.
Whoa.
Well,
that was
and
good.
I'm
And the
telling you
jerky, elk jerky that I made and
Oh.
took, that was incredible.
Yeah.
So you can live on a lot less than you think you can in that regard.
100%.
But anyway, so if you're looking for freeze-dried meals that just taste wonderful, listen, that's not their purpose.
Yeah, good luck.
The purpose is to give you calories and some energy to keep hunting.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and I can honestly say that every evening when I finished that loaf of bread or that piece of bread with that honey and that butter and had that cup of coffee, I was good.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't go to bed hungry.
Yeah.
No, it was. I'll do it again.
That's it. That's it.
It's worth the wait.
That's it. Well, I'll remember the night we came back from the river and we had all that weight. I don't know how heavy our packs were, but they were excruciatingly
They had to be between
heavy.
50 and 100 pounds.
They were so heavy. But anyway, I always laugh at people say, yeah, we walk around pack in 100 pounds. I'm like, dude, I don't even think you know what 100 pounds feels like on your back. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like when we do the rucking and stuff
Yeah.
that we do, and you get guys coming out and they're all bowing up like they're so tough. Like, how many pounds you going to carry,
Oh, yeah.
You going to carry 60 or 50 and, whatever it be, say.
Yeah.
You can if you want to. I'm
Sure.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they act real bad to the bone until they start carrying that for
Oh, yeah.
5, 6.
Yeah.
They won't
Well,
make it.
And they won't make it.
No.
And you can talk to guys that have openly admitted to us, when they start one of our camps,
Mm-hmm.
and I say ours, the men's ministry here at the church.
Yeah.
Their first time experience with that is John gives them the rundown. It's like start light, start light. Start if you've never done this before, 5-10 pounds. And as men, we hear 5 or 10 pounds.
Dude,
and
that's
you're
like an insult on our
Yeah.
on our masculinity, right?
Sure.
Or 20 or whatever you want to start with. Yeah.
But these guys, they make that mistake that first time around of throwing 40 or 50 pounds in that pack. And I don't know how many of I've spoken to, a few, that have stuck with the program and are further along now, look back and they'll tell you, oh man, I got 3/4 of a mile. I turned around.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to make 4 miles
Right.
with this on. And they cut back to 15 pounds and they get used to that after a couple weeks.
Keep
and
adding.
and they tell you, even they make the mistake when they add
Too much.
too much. They want to throw 5 or 10 pounds in
Yeah.
there, and they realize, oh no, man, I'm good with 2.5, maybe 5 pounds, depending on how much I've been doing. And
Well, what's ironic about it is, and guys get to acting all like, hey, all you got to do is add weight and miles.
Yes.
That's all you have to do to
Yes.
make rucking harder.
Yep.
It's not like rocket science.
no. It's a
Yeah.
pretty simple concept.
And if you don't want to go more weight, go more miles because
100%.
it's the continual
It compounds.
compounding over time and miles. That's
Yep.
what gets you.
Yep.
So I remember the first time that I ever went with you guys, and I was like, I did that very thing. I'm like, what do you think? Maybe like 70 pounds or or whatever it was, 60, 70 pounds.
Yeah.
And you guys are like, oh, sure. Yeah, go ahead. Try that one. Well, you told me what you guys were carrying. So I backed out and just carried so much, and I'm glad I did.
Yeah, because I think Arvil and I showed up. I think we were carrying probably 35 pounds, maybe. And just for the record, this guy was in shape. Like he was in shape. And I've never rucked with him, but I knew that he was not unfamiliar with backcountry hunts and carrying a pack, and I knew that he wasn't unfamiliar with working out and exercise. So we pull up, and I've got my usual 35 pounds. Arvil had been rucking with me for quite some time then, and we were meeting in the morning, so he had his 30 or 35 pounds. And this guy pulls up this pack, and it is loaded up, and it is 65, 70 pounds. And he spouts this, and I can remember my first thought was, he is going to make me look like I'm at the kiddie table here. He's going to throw this on his back. We're going to go do 10 miles, and I'm going to be embarrassed. and then when you started pulling that weight out, I was like, okay, I think he'll be glad that ultimately that's what he ended up doing.
I'm glad, yeah.
Well, that river's no joke anyway, man. That
It's
little
not.
route that we had.
And what really amazed me too was my feet.
Yeah.
That is what took the beating.
Oh, dude,
A beat down.
ankle strength.
Yes.
People, you can ruck on the concrete in these smooth little trails. I'm telling you right now, if you're getting prepared for a backcountry hunt, you better get something where your ankles are having to do some constantly moving and build up that those supporting muscles and tendon strength that come with that, because it'll wear on you.
It will. And that sand, that river sand, dude, it will knock you down. Yep. It's like a slap down is what it is, but it's good.
Well, because you almost feel like you're walking on a treadmill. I mean, that's how you feel. You feel like you step, and it's like, you sink, but in my mind, it feels like if I step a foot forward, I'm sliding back too. That's what that sand feels like.
It does. It's way more work.
Because it slows you down so much, it even adds more to that feeling where you're just going 100 yards. Dude, this is like a quarter of a mile.
Right. Absolutely. It is a beat down, man. No doubt about it.
Yeah, it was a interesting experience. It was tough.
It was. So coming back to camp that night with all that weight, man, I think I was I was kind of in my own mind. You probably could read my body language. I was kind of discouraged a little bit because, we're driven by like producing, you know what I mean? That's kind of how we do.
Yep.
We set goals. We want to achieve goals. I think most people who go hunt, their goal is to achieve that. That's kind of what we want to do, right? And so that wasn't going to happen. And I think I was looking at the overall picture with the other hunters that had come in, the places we've already hunted, and realizing that our options were starting to get small.
Yep.
So we get back to camp that night. We unload. I'm a little bit deflated, I think, just in my morale because of it. And we had an interesting thing happen that night. But go ahead and share.
I was going to say, I was second guessing myself on crossing the river, because in the back of my mind, those other guys, they brought a raft too. Mm-hmm. And they had mentioned that's what they were thinking about doing.
Right. That's one reason it pushed us to get going on that.
Sure. Yeah. But in my mind coming back, it's like, okay, are they going to get on this raft, and are they going to get across after, I felt like at the time I kind of convinced you, or maybe you didn't want to put me in a position to do something I wasn't comfortable
That's
with.
what I was concerned about too. I didn't want to make you end up doing it.
So I'm feeling responsible for this failure.
Oh, yeah.
and then in the back of my mind, I'm going, dude, if they get on this raft and they get across that, it's on.
And they kill a bear. Even if they get it.
Not even getting to the bear yet.
Right.
If they get across the river, at this point, that we have no choice. Mm-hmm. Because if they can prove that it has been done, then the decision to not cross was a poor decision.
Well,
in my mind, at that time,
right?
And so I'm carrying some of this in my mind too. So you're feeling deflated. I'm feeling like, okay, man, he's come up here. This was the game plan, and I kind of have influenced or been a problem. We're not doing this. And so it was a relief to me to find out, realize later that they never
got their raft out of their box.
No. which we think there was a reason behind that.
Right. Yeah.
They left in some haste. But anyway,
they did.
No, so you were feeling deflated. I was feeling responsible for the failure. And of course, but it's also that added effect of, if they were to do this, in my mind, I'm like, we have no choice. I mean, this is what I was thinking. It's like, because
you know me.
Well, and I know me.
Yeah.
Because all I'm thinking in my head is it's that same psychology of, oh yeah, me and my wife go up that all the time, and it's that same thing. So it's like, oh, okay. So basically, at this point, I'm either turning over my man card, or we're scaling up this rock face, or we're getting across this river. That's just the way it works. I can't fully explain it.
I know, but it's true.
But anyway, so yeah, we get back to camp that night.
Yep. And it's getting late, obviously. And so
it was dark.
I take my stuff, kind of wrap up a little bit what I'm doing, and I'm ready just to check in.
Yep.
So I crawl in the tent, right?
Yep.
And kind of nestle in, getting ready for bed there, and getting my sleeping bag, and you're still out getting your stuff ready or whatever. And dude, something very interesting happens here, and so go ahead. I'll let you explain what you did, and then I'll talk. Go ahead.
Yeah. So we we carried our sidearms. We both had harnesses that kept them nice and close to us, and this is where mine sat. And whether I was in camp or we were fishing or we were hiking, my sidearm stayed on me. And for whatever reason, and maybe it was just because we had been carrying those heavy packs that day, and I just was, you get in that mindset of, dude, just take it all off. That night I had chose, and it was the only night, to take my sidearm off. And I actually didn't even just take it off and set it on my pack.
No.
I actually took it off and put it in the tent, and was sitting on that stump and next to the remnants of our little campfire there or whatever, and finishing my electrolytes or whatever I was doing, just kind of lost in thought and just sitting in the woods, and then I hear an elk bugle. And I don't know how to describe it because it wasn't a full bugle. It was just that little chuck that they make before they rip one off, but it very distinct sound. There was no mistaking what I heard. And that's when I made the comment to you. I was like, hey, did you hear that elk bugle? And you were like, no, what direction? Well, he's in the tent behind me with his head facing whatever direction you were facing. I'm sitting on a log facing the complete other direction outside the tent. And I just, being tired, I just made the comment. I'm like, man, it's over to the left. And as soon as I did that, I was like, well, that was a stupid thing to say. The left means nothing to him. Right. But as I was thinking that, I looked to the left and I turned. And when I turned there, I saw a silhouette.
Hey guys, here at Gritty Men, we exist to equip, encourage, and inspire God's men to live God's way for God's glory. And so we provide several different things in order that we might do that. Number one, we provide the framework and the plan for putting on grit camps, which grit camps are developed to help us grow in our faith and fitness. And so we provide several different studies and the framework for how you do these camps. And if you'd like to have us visit with you, anyone on our team, about these grit camps and some of the studies that we have, you can contact us in the link below. You can also reach me at john@grittymen.org. And if you'd like to support us, there's ways in which you can do that. You can like and you can subscribe and share this with your buddies. If you know someone that could benefit from the teaching on here or the inspiration or just some of the stories that we share, then please like, subscribe, share. And then also you can purchase our merch. We have some merchandise for Gritty Men, and you can go to the link below at our store and you can find that at grittycompany.com. Anyway, thank you guys. Until next time, stay gritty.
It was unmistakably the silhouette of a bear.
Yeah, and this is dark, guys. It's late.
It's dark. So I'm looking into the darkness. All I could make out was kind of the glimmer and stuff from the brush next to the creek, and there was just this black bear-shaped spot. And when I saw it, my first thought was, that's a bear. And so I immediately went to put my hand on my pistol, which was not there. And at this moment, I'm thinking, okay, it's 20 miles away. And this was a big bear. No, go ahead.
Yeah. 20 yards away.
20 yards away.
Yep.
And I am looking at it, and all of a sudden, it goes from a broadside silhouette to where now it's turned 90 degrees.
Facing you.
In my mind, it was. It may have turned to get a drink of water for all I know. It was too dark, but I could tell that it went from a broadside view to now it's, looking at me in mine. And that's when I darted into the tent. Yeah. so I come into the tent, and I'll let you tell this part of it.
All I hear Si said is, do you have your... That's it. And he couldn't get outgunned. And so I'm like, what, man? What do you see out there? And he's not talking at this point, man. I hear this thumping around, and he's trying to find something. Well, I grab my pistol because I keep it right beside me and have it where I can grab it. I grab my pistol, step outside the tent, and you go, it's a bear. That's what you said.
Well, because, that's what I was doing. Because I knew that I had set it next to my sleeping bag in my mattress.
Yeah.
But I couldn't find it. I'm no headlamp.
Yes.
I've taken that off.
Sure.
I've got nothing. So I'm in there. And of course, in my mind, when I darted into the tent, that bear was coming.
Sure. Oh, you thought he was coming in after us. Yeah.
I mean, and I know how fast a bear can close 20 yards.
Oh, very fast.
Right.
Yep.
And so I'm just thinking, I need my pistol because if he drags me out by my legs, and of course, this is all just flashing in my mind. I was like, I've got to have something. Well, then you get out there before I do. I get my pistol. I come out there telling you that it's a bear, and he's gone.
Yeah. And I do have my headlamp in my hand at this point because I always set my stuff very methodically.
Yep.
Like right where I know where it's at night, just in the event that we have something coming. You were very fortunate because most guys who hunt with me, they have to experience mountain lions. And I don't know what the attraction is with me and mountain lions, but I can tell you several stories of guys who have gone hunting with me and we're laying there in the pitch black at night, middle of the night, and all of a sudden some dude, this guy will just... Did you hear that? And it's a mountain lion, and it'll be standing right outside the tent, and it's chirping.
Yep.
I can tell you some stories, and it is the weirdest experience, and they're right outside the tent there. So I mean, I keep my stuff kind of methodically, so if I just reach over, I know right where it's at. It's dark, And so I did have it in my hand, and so I shined it over. I said, where was it? You pointed over there, and I shined it, and it wasn't there at this point, right? Yep. So the bear left.
Bear left.
You probably scared him as much as he scared you. Is probably what happened.
I don't know, but I find that hard to believe because I was, like I said, in my mind when he went from that broadside silhouette.
Yeah.
In my mind,
Yeah, he's coming.
I've watched too many hunting videos.
Right, he's coming. Right,
Yeah.
He's coming.
Yeah, because I honestly, there was a part of me I think that I halfway expected just to be bowled over when I was trying to unzip the tent. But that's how fast that they can close that kind of distance. So in my mind, that's what I'm anticipating. So when I got into the tent, I was trying to tell you to get your gun.
Right, you couldn't quite get that out.
No, because I'm looking for mine too. Because like I said, in my mind, he's right up on us.
Yeah, because the last I heard was, did you hear that elk?
Yeah.
So see, in my mind, I'm thinking, what is it, an elk? I thought, cool, we got an elk in camp? I mean, that's what I'm thinking. So I bail out of there, and I got my light. I'm like, I did have my pistol, not to shoot the elk, obviously, but I didn't know for sure what was going on. And then you hollered out, it's a bear at that point. And so we're trying to find the bear. And he moved on.
Yep.
He left. It wasn't there.
He knew what he was up against.
Yeah. He knew what he's up against. So anyway, so basically things just kind of calmed down there. We lay down.
Yep.
Lay in there, go to sleep. And I don't know how many minutes had gone by. It's been a little while because we're dozing off again. It might
have been 20 or 30 minutes,
I
think.
Maybe. And then I'm laying there, and I'm a light sleeper.
Yep.
Just by nature I am. And so I hear some blood-curdling screams going on.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, these are people screaming, right?
And I was out. I was out by this time.
Yeah, you were already out at that point. And I hear this. I hear it twice. These men were screaming and they're hollering. That's what I heard. And what was really weird about that is those guys that flew in their own plane.
Yep.
They actually moved down, just being courteous.
Yeah.
They moved down away from us and parked their plane down there. Yeah, down there. Down the little stream that we had.
Yep,
and down the way.
same little stream.
Down the same little stream. And I said, "Sigh." I remember telling you, did you hear that?
Yep.
And they did it twice.
Yep.
And so I said, man, I don't know for sure what type of bear that was.
Right.
But I said, something happened to those guys in that camp down there.
Yep.
This wasn't like, these guys were, it was a fearful scream.
Right. And they're bear hunters.
And these are hunters.
Correct.
These aren't guys that are some pansy city boy that never been out in the woods.
Right.
These guys are hunters.
Yeah. They didn't have a raccoon come into camp and startle them.
No. So they were either hollering at something to run it off.
Yep.
They were doing something, right? And so we talked about that just briefly for a moment.
Well, yeah, because I mean, it had to have been something pretty alarming because you mentioned twice. Mm-hmm. Man, do you think we should go down there and check on them and make sure everything's okay? Because after the screams, it was just silence.
Yeah.
And so
anyway, early the next morning.
Yep.
Okay, it's early.
Oh yeah.
I mean, early.
Yeah, because we're usually up by around 5.
Yep.
And making coffee, and going through our gear and determining, kind of talking about the day's plans.
Yep, absolutely.
Yep.
So early the next morning at first light, like, I mean, it is just kind of first light.
Yeah.
I hear this, and I hear this plane start up.
Yep.
Right? And it runs there for a little bit. And we're like, oh, okay, everything is probably they're all good, I'm sure,
Yeah.
but they're leaving. Like these guys
They're packed up.
Packed up. This isn't like let's wait, have some breakfast, have some coffee,
Yep.
whatever. That plane started right at light, and I mean it was moments, and then that thing was.
They were gone.
They turned up and they were already
Yep.
flying out of there.
They didn't stop to
No.
say, hey guys, y'all
didn't.
say good luck or nothing. They were out.
They were gone. So we don't entirely know exactly what happened with that whole event.
Yeah.
But something went down there. And here's just an assumption. This is just an assumption. Yeah. After this, we've kind of walked through this, and we went and hunted that drainage later. And it would have been the drainage, the direction the bear came from.
That was that same trail that we went up the first night.
Yes. And man, this bear was monster.
Yeah.
I mean, I know bear tracks, right?
Yep.
And it was a heavy, huge bear just by its track.
Yep.
Now, I wasn't able to see really that well in the dirt, whether, the line runs straight across or it runs a little bit of a diagonal. Sure. Don't know. I couldn't really make that out. But you could tell just from the tracks,
Yep.
It was a heavy bear because it was sliding,
Yep.
and so on and so.
In the rock.
In the rock, yeah. So it was a heavy bear. And we don't know for sure if it was a grizzly bear or not. I don't know. But it was either a monster black bear
Yep.
or it was a smaller, young grizzly bear.
Yep.
That's all I can think of, right? And there are bears that travel through the Frank Church. That's just known fact.
Y'all saw a bear.
Grizzly bears, that is. Yeah.
You're right. But I mean, even just to the tune, a black bear. Y'all saw a black bear in that same camp the previous year.
Oh, we did.
Yep.
Yeah, we did. Absolutely.
So it's not like they aren't known to have to travel through there anyway.
Sure. Absolutely. So we don't know whether it was a G bear or whether it was a black bear.
Yep.
All I know is it was a big bear, a heavy bear, and we're just trying to tie the pieces together. Don't really know for sure, but it was a very, very interesting experience.
Well, I'll tell you what got me to thinking afterwards was how he, at some point, I'm assuming, just traveled along that creek bank there.
Which would have taken him to that next camp.
Sure. Well, but I mean, even coming into ours.
Yeah.
It's a clear opening right through there. I mean, because we had that one day we had the deer come in, those muleys come in, and they were just hanging out.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's an open area. He would have been in the open walking down that creek bank, and he got from however far we could see all the way down that creek bank to where that spot is, that little dugout area where we go to get our water.
Yeah.
Which is where I saw
Well, he
him.
would have seen all the camp. He'd have seen
Oh,
the
yeah.
fire. He'd have seen all that.
Correct.
There's no question about
He
that.
wasn't bothered by us.
No. No.
And he managed to make it that far, and I never saw him.
Yeah.
Never saw him until I actually turned and actually looked at him and saw the silhouette.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just one of those little experiences that we had in the backcountry.
I tell you what.
Yep. Pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
So you guys are probably wondering, so hey, did you guys actually get to kill a bear? The answer to that question is, we'll talk about it on the next podcast. No, I'm just kidding. No, did not harvest a bear. So it wasn't for lack of effort. It wasn't for any of that. One of the great things about hunting, I think that's so interesting to me, is you have to learn to be willing to adjust. There's always adjustments that have to be made. Sure. And so there were some adjustments on this trip that we had to make. Some of our hunting plans didn't work out the way that we thought they would work out, just from the plans you make prior to going in. You can have a game plan, but it doesn't always work that way. It's good to have a game plan. But anyway, we hunted hard. We had a great time. Got to see a lot of beautiful country.
Oh, man.
And
That's an understatement.
Yeah, just incredible experience. But we did not harvest a bear on this particular trip. So that's not what this hunt's all about, though. For those of you guys that do hunt, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not just about the harvesting of the animal. It's about the entire experience, from the planning stages to the exercise that you do, the working out, the preparation, the packing, it's everything. The trip getting there, the time you're there, the trip leaving, getting home. It's all of that stuff.
Oh, dude, the anticipation the night before when we're in salmon, before we go get, I mean, just all of it.
Yeah.
Absolutely all of it. I think if you go into any hunt, particularly one like this, because there's a lot of planning that goes into this, a lot of thought. If you go into it with you're defining the success of this trip by the harvest. I don't I don't know what to think about that. You're missing out.
Yeah, you're missing
on a
out for
lot.
sure. Absolutely.
And I don't know that I don't know if a person that does that, if they truly, really ever get to enjoy all of it, you know. But again, if you're too focused on that, are you present? Are you mindful and present of where you're at in that moment? I mean, one of the best parts of the hunt for us, or I say for us, that we were on, for me, was the morning that we went in and just followed that creek deep into the woods. The one area, because the rest of it's kind of arid and there's not a whole lot of trees. There's patches of them.
Yep.
But it's a lot of rock and a lot of scrub brush and short grass. Beautiful country, but just different than what I'm used to seeing in the areas of Colorado that I had been, in New Mexico. Completely different. But there was that area that we walked into that was heavily wooded, where we did actually see bear claws going into the trees.
Sure, scat on the ground. Yeah.
But spending that morning in that heavily wooded area, in the shade, and it was the cool air had kind of sunk into that bottom, and just the quiet that was experienced, the breeze coming through the trees, and just all of it, and just taking that in. Yeah. Absolutely was one of my favorite parts of that trip. Just being there, and just watching. Yeah. Just watching all of it. I don't know. I think if you're not getting in on that level, man, you are missing out on. You're missing out.
One of the crazy things about these trips for me is it seems like no more do you pack your stuff and have to leave to get back to the responsibilities you have that you're already planning and thinking about the next one. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I'm still thinking about the next one.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, well, anything else you want to share about the experience as we wrap up the podcast? And
no, man. I mean, it was a hunt of a lifetime for me, because it is not only is the country, the Frank Church, but in Idaho was an area that I've wanted to hunt for a long time. A bear hunt, honestly, was not one that I ever thought that I would be on. I thought if I was there, it would be elk or maybe mountain goats or something, you know. So it was an all around. And it was just an absolutely phenomenal experience. Every last piece of it.
That's awesome, isn't it? Yeah. Well, there's no doubt when you get away like that and get to experience those things. I think a lot about what Scripture says in Romans chapter 1, where it says that, you know, God's invisible qualities, that being His eternal power and divine nature, can clearly be seen and understood from what He's created. Oh, man. One of the reasons men know it or not, when they get in the backcountry like that, there's something that kind of feels something in them, or they experience. What they're experiencing that they may not understand is some of the attributes of God, His eternal power and His divine nature.
It's spiritual.
It is in what He's created.
100%.
We can see some of those attributes of God, and we're created in the likeness and image of God. So that's one reason I think it does something to the hearts of men that spend time in the woods and the wilderness. So it's refreshing. But anyway, well, man, thank you so much for joining the
Thanks for having
Faces
me.
Like Lions podcast today.
I love it.
And I hope you guys enjoyed this type of material. And we'll keep doing that, Lord willing, as we move on. So want to thank you guys so much for being part of the Gritty Men community. And if we can be a help to you in any way, whether it's a camp or studies or whatever, you can contact us here in the link below, and someone on our team will get back in touch with you. If you need someone to come speak and men's retreats or whatever, let us know, and we'll do what we can do in order we can help you. So God bless you guys, and until next time, stay gritty.